How's it going, everyone? Mountainspyder here, bringing you a new game and a new series. So recently I was introduced to a new game called Software Inc., where you develop your own software. So from games to operating systems, whatever, yeah, you make it. So it's really fun. It is still an alpha. That being said, a lot of work still needs to be done, but there aren't regular updates, not like Arc, which has a gig update like every 2 weeks. But the developer is constantly changing things. I think I got it for 100 rand, so it's like $7 or $8. So it really is cheap, and it's a lot of fun as is. I mean, I'm happy playing this, even if nothing changes. So I'm just gonna jump into a new game quickly. Wow, this guy looks sickly. The character customization is actually pretty cool. Male or female. I'm just hitting randomize to change the skin tone so I don't look like a zombie anymore. So yeah, you can change a lot of things. So you can change pretty much all the aspects. There aren't a lot of options right now, just because, as I said, the game is alpha. But they're enough as is. Let's put different pants on, because those looked a bit weird. So yeah, you can see the color coordination is amazing with the blue glasses, the white shirt, the green pants, and the purple shoes. But yeah, anyway. So you can customize your guy as much as you want. I'm just going to brief over things, as the tutorial does cover everything really nicely. Dropping down to the personality, you can change your personalities, and these affect your skills. So I'm going to keep it as the default for now, for this playthrough. I suggest dropping marketeer for quite a bit and leader for just a little bit. Just because early game you really need the programming and the design skills more than marketing, because you're going to hire a marketer to do it for you. Anyway, so you have two options to play, free play and competition. I haven't actually tried competition yet, so for the moment just kind of cover free play. Starting money, I'm going to keep it at 5 grand to make it a bit more difficult, a bit more interesting. Starting year, you can change it. I prefer starting 1980 just to get your foot in the door nice and early. You can change your environment around. I don't know what this actually changes, to be honest with you. I've only ever played in a city. And yeah, you got difficulty, no brainer. Then you get days per month. Sorry. Yeah, so what that changes is the time in the game in relation to real-time player time. So 1 day in the game will then be a month, compared to if I change it to 2 days, it'll then be 2 days in game equals a month pretty much in game. So it lengthens the time, it lengthens everything. So now having 2 days will be twice as long as anything that would take place in 1 day. But it gives you, the player, more time to actually think about things and react to things. So I'm going to leave this 1 day just because that's how I've always played and I find it easy that way. Sorry. Anyway, so jumping straight in, wait, let me rename my company. Call it Mountainspyder. Because, yeah, it's awesome. So, jumping straight in the game. This is a simulator. It is alpha. A lot of work still to be done, but it is very crisp as is. So that's what the world looks like. Looks pretty good. So, jumping straight in to build a really simple room. The basic guy you start with doesn't really have any needs. So most people would need like temperature controlled room that looks pretty, has lots of light, they don't work too hard. The person you start with doesn't give a shit. They're happy to work on any conditions. They're like the perfect employee that doesn't exist. Because let's be serious, none of us are actually that dedicated. So yeah, building a very small room for him is what I would suggest, because as I said, he doesn't have any requirements off the bat. So he's quite happy working in a dingy underground, not underground, but small dingy room that doesn't have anything besides a computer. I'll just put the windows in because I prefer a bit of lighting. I would highly suggest giving a guy a calculator to start off with, because it does increase your programming design speed early on, which is very important early game. So yeah, that's the very basic room. I know it ain't looking pretty. If I'm not mistaken, you can actually change the color of the walls. I did this earlier, I don't know how I did it though. Material. Oh, you can actually change the structure material as well. Interior. Kind of waves, that's cool. Okay, let's have the waves, they look really cool. You can do color, I saw color somewhere. Yeah, you can change colors. Let's make it a green interior. And a red exterior for some color. Yeah, cool. So you do get some pretty cool customization by right-clicking and stuff. Sorry, I'm doing it, I'm not explaining what I'm doing. So yeah, that's our room. So I'm just going to skip ahead so my person actually rocks up. And so you can either develop your own software, as I said earlier, either operating systems, 2D editors, audio tools, game engines, games, office software, and CMS. Each of these has options within themselves. Now, starting off, I wouldn't suggest doing this, as Sorry, the camera's in the way. I couldn't see where the cross was. I would suggest starting off with the contract though, because as you can see, I've already spent a lot of my money. I started with 5, I'm down to 1.8. This is problematic. If you're creating your own software, it takes time. And I don't have a lot of money, even though my guy doesn't actually, you don't get a salary if you're a person, as this is pretty much his bank account. You're still paying off the expenses of rent and all, which you can see here. So I'll be losing $200 a month, but that still adds up. So what I'd suggest when you start off with is just do some basic contracts. So sorting them via income. Game assets I wouldn't suggest, just because art units tend to take longer than coding. Embedded systems, logistic applications, those are really easy to start off with. This is actually, yeah, this one's actually a lot better. So why I'm changing them is, for instance, if you look here, it says code units. The higher this number is, the longer it takes to code something. So this is 1.34 compared to 0.66. The expected quality of the software is going to be horrible. That's on the person who owns its side. It's not your side, so don't even worry about that. One thing to really keep note of is recommended designers, recommended programmers, and recommended artists. Keep to this. Anything less than that number, obviously this is 1, so I can't be less than it. Anything less than this number slows your project down drastically. Anything more than this also slows down your project. So you really want to stay at that like golden recommended option. So I'm going to go for logistics application to start off with. And yeah, that's my little dude happily programming away. And you can see on the right here is how long it takes. So once this bar completes, as you can see, I'm busy working on designing the system. So once this bar completes, then you can go from design process to then alpha to then beta and then to release. The contract is only 1 month. So it's this month and then next month, and the next month has to be handed in. So it doesn't include the month you start in. So I'm in February 1980 right now. I've got February to work in, February, March, January, February, March. Sorry, Braden work there. End of March, I've got to hand this contract in. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit just to get it going. Oh, and as you saw, you get money for accepting contracts as well, which is why my money went up there. So it's going to speed this up a little bit just so that bar is done. Now, keep an eye on this bar because once it completes, develop will flash. Then, as you see there, it actually gets worse if you don't develop it automatically. So, develop it now quickly as it goes, and now you'll see I've gone from the design process to the programming process. This is important because if you're looking at your guys' stats, they're two very different things. Okay, my person's stats are more or less the same, so it's not the end of the world. But some people will only be good at design, whilst others are only good at coding. So the higher your design skill is, the quicker you'll complete that design step. Same thing for coding. The higher your coding is, the quicker you'll do alpha and beta stages. So if someone's really, really crappy at coding, don't put them onto alpha or beta. Keep them on just the design process. Art is slightly different. Artists, they pretty much do work when there's work available. As you can see, you can change your role. So you can change the person to just do a leader who would do any role and buff everyone else, pretty much like a support from other games. Your programmer would literally just do alpha and beta steps. Your designer will only do the design steps. So if you've got, for instance, if I change my guy to just designer, he will now do nothing in the alpha and the beta phases. Obviously, the reverse is if you're only doing a programmer, he'll do nothing in the design step. This is good because if a person is bad at design, they slow the design process down. If a person is bad at programming, they slow the program process down. So keep an eye on this when you have bigger teams. Starting off, keep your main guy on auto role, or main woman guy, either way. Keep them on any role because they'll speed up and they'll shift to whatever needs to be done. So now jumping on to what's actually happening at the moment. As you can see, the coding is slowly taking place. Why I went for the 0.66 is because it's quicker to finish. And I don't know if I can actually see from here. Project details, yes. I want to complete this as quickly as possible so I can get on to the beta phase. Because every bug that you don't fix, you get a penalty of $44 off of the other payout, which is $10,000. So you don't want to have any bugs. Also, any month you're late, you lose $4,400. So get it in on time, otherwise you lose money. If you take too long, or if you cancel your project, you lose money. So they'll then bill you for cash. So for instance, if I cancel this contract right now, I would probably lose the upfront and a little bit more for canceling the project. So do not take on a project if you do not plan to finish it. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit just so I can get this process done. There's no real point to staying in alpha phase longer than needed. So as soon as it gets to 0.66, you can promote it to beta phase. There'll be a slight delay before it jumps into it, and then you'll see your person will start fixing bugs. Now, I could release this now. Nothing wrong with that. However, I'll then get billed, what was it, $48 I think it was? So, $44 for every bug. I'm really sitting on 12 bugs. So I would have lost close to $500 off the bat by just releasing this too early. So you really want to actually get rid of all your bugs to get the maximum profit from it. So I'm going to continue working on it for now. Also, they have little thought bubbles. So yeah, I love working because it's your main person. This is his life. Other people, you hire them, they bitch. Get used to it. Anyway, we're going to speed this up a little bit just to get it done. And he goes home. Nice thing is you don't have to sit here waiting. There he is. Sitting by the bus stop waiting for the bus to arrive. You don't have to sit here waiting the whole night. You can just skip the night as soon as he leaves. So as soon as there's no one on your property, you can skip time ahead until when they're supposed to arrive. This is your monthly profits. Red bar bad, good bar green. Easy to remember. So as you can see, I actually made money in February because I accepted the contract. So you can go into your monthly profits and you can see either a nice chart, which is, there's not much happening at the moment. Interest is not happening. Yeah, so, or you can just use a sheet which shows quite nicely. So last month, I lost $209 for the maintenance, which is the rent and electricity. So for instance, a computer and a light uses electricity. Tough work, guys. But yeah, so rent's often a very high expense. Your most expensives are actually internet later game, when you've got servers up and running and you're distributing software for other people, which I'll cover in a later episode. After that, obviously, salaries. No brainer there. But yeah, as you can see, I actually made money. I made I got $1,000 income from accepting the contract. Obviously, the 1,000 minus the 209, I end up with $870 as in my net profit for that month, which is good. The higher your net profit is, the better. One thing to note is, as you can see, my person's arriving via bus. If they arrive via bus, they get there around 8 o'clock in the city. If you build parking, so here you go on the roads and you build parking, it costs a bit, but then they'll arrive at 7 o'clock and they'll leave a little bit later as well. I think they'll also leave an hour later. So you actually get an extra like 2 hours per day. I might actually put that in right now and just save it later on. Don't worry about buying cars. That's the people's problems. Even though that's your own bloke there. Okay, so 1,500. I want this one actually. Can't put it in front of the bus stop. Oh, didn't know that. So put it there. So now he should leave a little bit later and arrive a little bit sooner. So as you can see, I'm still fixing bugs and I've got to hand it in this month still. So I'm going to carry on fixing bugs until the end of this month and then I'll hand it in, or if I fix all the bugs. It does normally give you a notification to say that you've actually fixed them all. He's sleeping, so preview. Oh, he doesn't. I thought he gave a notification. So he's dosing now, so that means the bugs are all fixed. So now I can go and say release. I got a total of $10,437, which was the full contract price. So perfect job done, guys. So yeah, as you can see, money went up really nice and quickly, which is why I was just doing contracts right off the bat. So I'm going to take up another contract again, another embedded systems. Oh, embedded systems quite. See, unfortunately, I got a really bad. So these do change over time. I got bad luck on this one, so I'm going to go for the embedded systems. It is a lot more work than the last one, but the expected quality is actually bad, so I can stop the alpha at the bad process and not feel bad about it. So I'm going to start. Also, just looking at that, it reminded me there are a lot of extra things you can actually build. So for instance, you can build a clock, which actually increases the effectiveness of everyone in that room because they know what the time is. It's a silly little thing, but these buffs add up. Keep track of it. The same as putting that calculator in. It's a very small buff, but they add up. So, unfortunately, I can't really show the board menu and the person happening at the same time. Let's close that. But if you go to furnishings, it does make it easy for you. So, for instance, if you go to the office, it shows you all your office equipment together. So we can put a fan in just because why not, and because the pro guy's probably dying of heat. As is, you have to place furniture inside your rooms. Oh, there, sorry. Yeah. So, as I said, your basic guy does need a fan, but there'll be a person coming in soon, so I'll put that there for now. Again, it increases the mood. Your person doesn't suffer from mood, so I'm not really worried about that. And a bookshelf increases the skills. Again, another little buff, it adds up. One thing to notice, this red exclamation mark, is the temperature in the room will vary a lot. This is because I've got the computer and I've got Windows. Windows leak temperature, so you get a lot of temperature fluctuations within the room. This is then solved by having like air cons or fans or heaters or things like that. So moving on to the next piece of software, I'm starting to develop it already, and yeah. So the person he's still waiting for the bus because he didn't. So I built the car park during the day, so he didn't arrive with his car. So now obviously he can't leave with a car that doesn't exist. So let's go speed up a little bit so that fetches him. So if you remember yesterday, he arrived at 8:15. Let's see today when he arrives. It should be earlier. Apparently not. He arrived at 8 o'clock. So we saved 15 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a little change. I don't know if it's actually worth $1,500, but why not? So as you can see there, my profits are much higher now for completing the contract. So that's the very basics of this game. I will cover a lot more videos covering the different parts of the game as we go along. I will play a little bit in between because it's a lot of hours. It's a simulation game, so there's a lot of hours like in between where you're just grinding away. So not a lot will happen at the moment. Finishing this contract and then move on to the develop step. So yeah, I think this episode will just cover these basic contracts. Next episode I'll then start to cover you developing your own software, which will then cover like marketing, things like that. One other thing you can look at just quickly is while I'm looking at the tab. So you've got development, HR, finance, marketing. If you go and look under all companies, you can actually check out your company in relation to everyone else. So if I were to go and look at their net worths, I am right rock bottom at the moment because I haven't actually released any products. Products are where you make a lot of money, okay? So I would not suggest sticking to making just contracts. Make contracts until you get to about maybe 60, 70 grand and then start moving on to developing your own software. Simply because you cannot make a lot of money doing contracts because you're working for someone else. You're not your own boss. You're not doing your own work. So I'd highly suggest starting off with contracts, or if you desperately need money, do contracts. Otherwise, develop your own software. For those who are going to jump straight into the game before the next episode comes out, hint hint, nudge nudge, CMS. CMS is a very quick and easy software to build. As you can see, the most basic file management system is only 4 units of code. That's maybe 2 months worth of coding and you're done. So it'll be not even a month of developing, 2 months of coding. With my expenses every month being as low as they are, it's $200 a month, you'll lose maybe $600 to $800 in completing your software. And then it's going to be marketing, which I'll suggest hiring a marketer for, which I'll cover in the next one. You can hire employees under the HR tab. For instance, you'll just look then for a marketer, and you can go from there. As I said, the tutorial does cover all of this. I would highly, highly suggest playing the tutorial for this game, because there are a lot of intricate pieces that you don't really see at first glance, but they add up. Same as the little buff having a clock and having the bookcase and all of that. Little things add up. So really, spend your time going through the tutorial, looking what everything does, and getting comfortable with the game. This game is a lot of fun. I mean, I think I sat down and first got and played for like 8 hours straight the one evening. It is that much fun, and it's just that because it's a simulation, you lose track of time, and you really get to do your own thing. So you're gonna make your own game. You can make an MMO, so you can make your own World of Warcraft. Just call it something different because you know Blizzard. But yeah, so you can make your own softwares, you can make your own games. And it's fun because you actually get to manage a whole lot of people. An interesting thing is, which I'll showcase in another video, is you can actually play with stocks. So you can buy your own stocks, but you can buy the stocks of other companies. So if I were to go to Fist Corp, for instance, you can buy up their stocks. So you can actually play this game literally just on the stock markets. So once you've got a little bit of money from contracts, you can actually start buying stocks with 100k. Because even if I'm going, the most valuable stock you can buy at the moment Okay, that's actually very expensive. But I mean, if you were to go to Slide Inc., those stocks are not that expensive. And if you're buying stuff right at the bottom, entry level stocks, they're not expensive. 60 grand. 2 or 3 contracts, actually no more than that, about 5 contracts, and you have the money to start playing the stock market. So if that's your thing, go for it. You can play this game as a stock exchange market. It's perfectly okay. This game is, you can run it however you want. You can run the game doing digital distribution for other companies. You can run this game as making physical copies for other companies. It's up to you. There are so many things you can do in this game. It is absolutely amazing. So I'd highly give this a try. Like I said, it's not expensive. $7 or $8, 100 rand. It's really cheap and it's really good value for money. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually one person developing this game, which is nothing short of amazing. This quality of work is awesome for what he's done already, or what they've done already. Don't know if it's man or woman, but regardless, whatever they've done is amazing so far, and they're constantly working. They're working on new updates. As I said, there's mod support for this. This game is in the workshop, so if you are a modder, you enjoy making your own doors or windows or paints, who knows. There is opportunity for this in this game, so definitely suggest giving this a try. So yeah, if you like this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. And yeah, leave your comments below. If you're playing this game, you want to play this game, you got suggestions, drop some comments. And yeah, thanks for watching guys, and hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.